Hello, my name's Curtis. I'm here with ThermApparel to answer some questions about motorsports. We've been lately receiving lots of questions if a cooling vest or the ThermApparel undercool would be good in motorsports. And the answer is yes. There's lots of reasons for it. The undercool works for everyone. It isn't just for people with health conditions that cause them to have heat sensitivity. It works for everybody that has environmental issues or is exerting themselves. One of the things that the ThermApparel Cooling Vest can really help you with is improve your concentration and lessen fatigue in motorsports. Cooling the body is a lot like a motor. We're going to use an analogy here. It's a lot like a water-cooled motor in a sense of that we all know that our body sweats in order to cool ourselves down. But our sweat cools our skin. But why does our skin get cooled? Because our blood needs to flow up to that skin and get cooled down and then circulate throughout the rest of our body. That causes our core temperature to stay at a comfortable or a better temperature. So the things that can cause our bodies to overheat are environmental factors, which you get in motorsports, and or anything you do that inhibits the skin's ability to cool the body. So wearing a fire suit or other protective gear like leathers can really affect a person's ability, the body's ability to cool itself. So therefore, the cooling vest, the undercool, is a good option for people in motorsports. Now, how the undercool works is it works by placing cooling packs, which we have right here, a slim cool or an extended cool, cooling packs up against the skin, like so, to use that as a way for the blood flow to flow past it and therefore cool that blood down as it goes by, helping to keep that core temperature lower. So, just like in an engine, the hot water comes out of the motor, is pumped by the water pump, then it goes into the radiator, and then the air flows through that radiator, cooling that water back down, and then it is re-pumped back into the engine, keeping that core engine temperature cool. Well, it's very similar with the body. That sweat in the skin is that radiator. Our hearts is the water pump, and then the blood just circulates right past it, gets cooled down and goes back in. So the undercool, which I can show you right here, is a cooling garment, and normally it's worn directly against the skin, but I'll put it on here just so that you can see how it goes, where it hits your body. What it does is it provides cooling by cooling the lower part of the body behind in the lower back region. Right back here, you can see those cooling packs. Those cooling packs get pressed right up against the skin, therefore cooling that blood as it flows right past. So it works great as you sit into a seat, or even if you're on a motorcycle and bent over. It also can be great in the pits too. One of the things that we always think about is that the being out on the asphalt for long periods of time, our bodies need all the help that they can get. So I do recommend it for the people in the pits, and also it can also be used as a recovery device. So after you've gone and you've exerted yourself, which we all know happens in motorsports, because you're driving around or you're riding on your motorcycle and your heart rate gets really high, that's creating heat, and so you've got a double problem. You've got environmental heat from the fire suit or protective gear, and then you've got internal heat that is being created by that higher heart rate. So there's lots of ways that we can help to mitigate that, you know. And we all know that drinking water and staying hydrated is very, very important. But the other aspect of that is by the cooling vest, by helping to keep that core temperature lower, that's going to help with the problems of fatigue. So, so when you are looking at a cooling vest, there are questions that you might have of which is the best cooling vest for me. And for us, we make an extended cool and a slim cool. Now, when you're in an extreme environment, I would definitely recommend the extended cool. But I want you to understand the goods and the bads of the slim cool and the extended cool. With the extended cool, it will last longer. So let's think about what the activity is that you're doing. Are you doing an endurance race, or are you just doing a few laps around the track? Is it a practice session? You know, is it, what amount of time are you going to be spending in the car from the time that you get into stage to after your event is over? Is it 30 minutes? Is it 10 minutes? Is it 2 hours? You know, so anything I would say over 45 minutes to an hour, we definitely would want the extended cool. The extended cools are a little bit thicker, as you can see here. The extended cools last longer because there's more mass of the cooling material that allows it to last longer. Think of the snowball in the parking lot versus you know, a giant mound of snow. The mound of snow can last for a month, whereas the snowball will melt in a few minutes. Same principle here is that we have a lighter amount of weight and a little bit more weight. Now, when I say that, one thing that you really want to consider too is how does your seat fit? So, because the cooling packs will add a little bit of something onto your lower back, and so we want to make sure that you're comfortable and it's not a distraction, because we all know that you don't need any more distractions while you're trying to compete in motorsports. So the slim cools will feel less like you're wearing something, but they won't last as long. So just like everything, there's a compromise to be made. So let's think about what the race is that you're doing and how long it's going to last versus comfort and your ability to concentrate. So one of the great and unique things about our cooling packs versus a lot of the other competitors is that ours are engineered to be around 70 degrees. And why that is important is because your body works in a way of being able to take the blood vessels, and the blood vessels can get really narrow or they can get really big, and we want them really big because we don't want to inhibit any blood flow, because that would be contradictory to getting maximum performance. You know, just like in your car, you wouldn't want a really little bitty teeny tiny thin gas line going to the motor if you're trying to get the maximum amount of horsepower. So by doing that, that opens up that blood flow, and that blood flow is not only carrying your cooling, it's carrying, you know, your fuel as well, your oxygen and your glucose. So keeping that in mind, if you put very cold things against your body, those blood vessels will shrink down, and that will inhibit that blood flow. That's a lot like, you know, when people say you sprained your ankle or you got a bruise, you put ice on it. You know, well, that is to help inhibit that blood flow, and also it can be dangerous. If you leave it on for too long, you can cause burns. So, and we don't want that. So, One of the cooling vest is a very useful thing when we're in those hot environments. It's like I said, really helpful for a recovery device. And what I mean by that, when I say a recovery device, it means like is to go ahead and put new packs in, fresh packs right after you get off the track, so that it helps bring that heart rate down quickly, and it can also help the fatigue level so that it can get you ready to go for your next round or your next race. One last thing I'd like to bring up, though, is the question about safety. One of the things that you'll notice about the garment that I'm wearing, it is spandex, and the reason that it is spandex is because it needs to have that close contact to that skin in order for it to work properly. Now, we all know that it's not recommended to wear spandex underneath fire suits. We have found that there's been lots of people in motorsports that have chosen to wear it because they understand the situation and are comfortable with it anyway. We know that cloth, cotton, is more recommended to be worn under fire suits. You know, it's all just a matter of your comfort in your thinking about what you wear under your suit. Once again, spandex is a plastic, and it would melt at certain temperatures, but the temperatures are fairly high. A lot of people have told me that if it reaches that point, that they've got bigger problems than to worry about their spandex. So just kind of throwing that out there, because I want everybody to be safe and for them to make their own choices about performance and safety. So I hope this answers a lot of your questions. If you have any more, feel free to contact us. I'm happy to help out any way that I can. You can contact us through the phone, live chat, or email, or even on Facebook and all of the other social media channels. Thank you very much. Stay safe and go fast. Wheels side down, please.